Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, where we talk with local entrepreneurs, share motivation, network with one another, and pick up a tip or two on how not to burn your business to the ground. I'm your host, Spencer Ward. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Idaho Business Podcast. I am your host, Spencer Ward, and today we're diving into something that every entrepreneur, business owner, and every human needs to master, especially this guy right here. And I'm pointing at me. Creating an environment of success. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm an all or nothing type of guy. When my diet's dialed in, when I'm eating clean, hitting the gym, drinking water, sleeping right, nothing else everything else starts clicking. I don't know if anyone can relate. I focus better. I'm into my routine. I'm more productive at work. And when I get home, I'm more present. I actually think about fun stuff to do with my family. It's everything is just flowing. But when I'm not eating healthy, and it's interesting how it all starts with me eating healthy. When I'm skipping workouts, I guess it's eating healthy and skipping workouts for me. The wheels fall off. My focus is gone. I lose my rhythm. I turn into a lazy couch potato, watching Netflix and wondering why my motivation disappeared. If you can relate with that, I bet you're grinning right now because I'm hitting it right on the head for you. Now, here's the truth. Our environment shapes our habits, and our habits shape our lives. Aubrey Marcus, in a book that I'm currently reading, Own the Day, Own Your Life. He's the owner of On It, the protein and supplement company. Says you are the result of small choices you make each day. Own those choices, and you can own your life. That hit me hard. I'm serious. It's about big goals, or it's not about big goals or motivation. It's about creating an environment that makes good choices that easy. Just think about it for a minute. If you got junk food all over your kitchen, it's going to get eaten. You've been there. You've done that. If you see your phone and you grab your phone the first thing in the morning, it's going to steal your focus. If your office is cluttered and your calendar is chaos, your brain is too. That's how it works. Success isn't about willpower. It's about design. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And that's from James Clear from Atomic Habits. Something I've quoted many times before, I'm sure. When your environment supports the life you want, everything else just flows naturally. And I've been there, you've probably been there, you probably recognize that. You're just like thinking, wow, things are just happening the way I want it to right now. Because you were trying to create that environment of success. And then we kind of sabotage ourselves of, things are good. I'm going to kind of go back, I'm going to sneak a few more treats. I'm going to maybe sleep a few more minutes this day and hit the snooze button and not work out. It just easy times create soft people, and and it creates hard times too. So you don't want that to be you. Now let's talk about the all or nothing folks. I'm pointing right back at me. That this is me. We tend to live our lives on extremes. When we're on, we're unstoppable. Laser focused, disciplined, dialed in. And when we're off, man, it's like the wheels come off the entire bus. I'm telling you, that's how it feels for me. I don't know how it feels for you. And here's the kicker. We beat ourselves up about it. But I've learned this. Instead of fighting that personality type, design around it. If you know you thrive with structure, build that structure intentionally. You've heard me talk about this before, where I built a system and a structure that I was getting in my office at 7:30 in the morning. I had, certain things blocked out in the mornings. I had I was getting to my office first thing. I was reading some scriptures. That kind of brought me into some kind of like a Zen state, and it helps satisfy my spiritual side. And then I would get right into, looking for businesses to buy, acquisitions and learning more about that kind of stuff. And then I would get in after that, right into my emails and start figuring everything out from there. And that was a great routine. You know, what happens? I slid off of that. Life got busy. So now I'm getting back to it again. When I was doing that diligently, I was on fire, just like just got done explaining. So Tony Robbins says your life changes the moment you make a new, consistent, and committed decision. But that decision doesn't mean you wake up perfect. It means you set your world so it's hard to fail. I just got done reading the 12-week year, and it's all about holding yourself accountable, which I'm terrible at. Um, I'm real good at making goals and or and I'm real good at tracking. And when something bad happens, I don't need to track that, especially when it comes to my diet or anything like that. I'm not going to track that. I'll start tracking tomorrow. It's terrible, it's terrible to do that. Uh, but that's the reality for me. For me, you know, I should be meal prepping on Sundays, but that's not a reality for me. I hate meal prepping. So what I've done is I've got a food service that delivers meals to me a couple times, I think once a week. It delivers food to me. So if eating those meals, I'm staying diligent with, my micros and macros, all that fun stuff. Um, but when I'm doing that in that routine, I'm sharper at nuclein. I lead better. I think clearer. I'm more patient with my kids. Everything is connected. So for those who aren't all or nothing people, those who can somehow compartmentalize and not let areas bleed into another, I take my hat off to you because seriously, that's a superpower. Uh, but even you creating an environment of success still matters because it's not all about control, it's about alignment. Success in business, in your health, in your faith, in your family, they're all connected. You can't truly thrive in long-term, uh, one area long term while neglecting the others. And I've been there where I was training for a Spartan, I think it was 13 years ago. Um, and I was really good at, two or three things, but then I was noticing other things sliding because I was just so dedicated to a few things. Um, here's a quote here from John Rohn that says, "You are the average of the five people you spend the most time with." And you got to ask yourself, because your environment, the people you're around, the routines you build, the content you consume, it either feeds that alignment or drains it. So the average of the five people you spend your the most time with is you've got to ask yourself, are those five people, are they pulling you down or holding you back? I mean, pulling you up or holding you back. You got to ask yourself that. Um, Now let's get tactical for a second. How do you actually create an environment of success? Here's a few steps that have worked for me. How to start, controlling your morning. How to start your day to determines your momentum. And if I start my morning right, I've told my wife this. I'm like, when I start my mornings right, I know I accomplish more in my just before noon than I'm sure many people do their whole day. If I do it the right way, the way I planned it. Don't start scrolling. Start intentionally, prayer, journaling, exercise, or even a simple walk. Own your morning, own your day. Audit your surroundings, look at your workspace, your home, your car. Does it reflect where you want to go or where you've been stuck? Clear the clutter, create the space for clarity. I'm 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 very bad at clutter. My desk is full of sticky notes at times. I've got things in different areas of my desk, and then like every 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I have to just throw it all out, or consolidate and like, okay, I don't need that sticky note. I don't need that anymore, and just get rid of everything. So I need to be better there. I need to find a better system. So design triggers for success, set reminders, visual cues, or accountability partners that make good habits automatic. Um, Here's a good example. I keep my water bottle at my desk, so when I see it, I drink it. So it helps me get more water. which everyone needs more water because we're so good at drinking all of the other fluids, especially the energy drinks that are killing kids nowadays. But they're terrible for us, especially, creating heart issues and all that kind of thing. So get more of your water in there. Protecting your inputs, what you watch, listen to, read, or is garbage in, garbage out. Feed your mind with the stuff that builds you, not breaks you. Now, the last one, schedule renewal. You can't pour from an empty cup. Time with your family, hobbies, rest. Those are part of your environment. They recharge you to perform at your best. Aubrey Marcus, from the book, Win Your Day, Win Your Life, is saying, win the morning, win the day. It's cliche, but it's true. Because when you string together a few one days, you build a winning life. There's a ripple effect that happens here. So here's what I've realized. When I take care of my environment, my routine, my inputs, my health, everything else levels up. I'm sure you've seen this in your life when this happens. Business runs smoother. My relationships grow stronger. My spiritual side feels grounded. The crazy part, I enjoy it more. When I was in shape, years ago, I haven't been in shape, like totally in shape for years, and it's been just destroying my mind lately because I'm like, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. And so I'm now setting the 12-week year tracker up, and I'm getting to like, okay, I'm going to mark this off daily. Okay, I'm just taking it a day at a time. But because success isn't just about hitting financial goals, it's about fulfillment. It's being able to look at your life and say, I'm proud of the person I'm becoming, and that starts with creating an environment that supports that vision of you. So many of us, we talked about this before, is, what is success to you? And it's more than financial. If you only define success by financial, you've already lost, because those people, number one, their kids don't want to hang out with them later on in life. And if your kids don't want to hang out with you later on in life, that's very, very sad. And that would be the ultimate level of success for me, knowing that, like, hey, I've raised my kids, they still want to come home and still say hi to me or answer my phone calls. That's a huge level of success for me. I'd take that over any amount of money. But Tony Robbins says the quality of your life is the quality of your emotions, and your emotions are deeply influenced by your environment. What you see, hear, feel, and surround yourself with daily. Okay. So whether you're an all or nothing person like me, or you've got that all balanced mindset, take a step back today and look around. Ask yourself, does your environment make success easy or hard? Does it pull me towards my best or back towards my worst? You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. I'm not asking you to do that because it's so hard to do. You can't do that. Just start with one small choice, 1 degree better, one choice better. That's what let the momentum build. Okay. Because when you create a life of success, everything else falls into place. So thanks for tuning in today, guys. I hope this hit home for some of you. If it did, share it with someone who could use it. Maybe a fellow entrepreneur who's been feeling stuck or out of rhythm lately. But until next time, keep building, keep growing, keep creating the environment where you thrive, and then be happy, be grateful, and go out there and serve others. Adios. See ya. That's it for today's Idaho Business Podcast. Hopefully you learned something new. And if you didn't, I've got a cheat code for you. Go to theidahobusinesspodcast.com, enter your email, and get my 20 golden rules for business. It's packed with my best advice, plus it's free. Subscribe, leave a review, share this with a friend. Until next time, keep hustling, keep laughing, and keep Idaho awesome.